Have you ever stopped to think about the dried fruit in your trail mix? Or maybe the dried veggies in that instant soup you grabbed for lunch?
Right.
It's not something most of us dwell on. But here's a crazy fact. The global market for dried ingredients like that is a whopping $36 billion.
36 billion. That's massive.
Huge. So it makes you wonder, how on earth do they manage to dry all that produce and still keep it, well, good?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And that's what we are going to be diving into today. There's been a pretty interesting development in the world of dried ingredients, a collaboration that could really shake things up.
Yeah, we're talking about a potential game changer.
Absolutely. Two companies, BranchOut Food, known for their innovative dehydration tech called GentleDry, and MicroDried, a big name in premium dried fruit and veggie ingredients.
They've joined forces.
They have. And we're going to unpack what that means. So we're going to be diving deep into this agreement between BranchOut Food and MicroDried to really understand the potential impact on this massive dried ingredient market.
And why it matters to, well, anyone who eats.
Exactly.
Because chances are you've probably consumed something with their ingredients without even realizing it.
Probably. So let's start with the agreement itself. The press release uses some pretty formal language, calling it a definitive agreement.
Right.
What does that actually mean in plain English?
Well, in simple terms, it means BranchOut and MicroDried have hammered out all the big details and are fully committed to working together.
So no backing out now.
Exactly. They're in it for the long haul. And the central part of this agreement is that MicroDried will be integrating BranchOut's, that GentleDry technology, into their existing product line.
So it's more than just like a handshake deal. It's a full-blown integration of technologies.
Absolutely. And this is big for MicroDried because it lets them expand what they can offer, give food manufacturers even more choices when it comes to high-quality ingredients.
More tools in the toolbox, so to speak. So we've talked about what MicroDried gets out of this. But what's in it for BranchOut? What's their big win?
Well, for BranchOut, think of this as their grand entrance into the industrial ingredient market. They've got this brand new, massive production facility down in Peru.
How massive are we talking?
50,000 square feet. And it's specifically designed for high-efficiency production. And that's key for scaling up their GentleDry process.
Makes sense. You need the space to meet that kind of demand.
Exactly. But maybe even more important than the space is the potential revenue. This partnership is projected to bring in, get this, $5 to $6 million annually for BranchOut.
Wow, that's not insignificant.
Not at all. And that's just the start. That number has the potential to grow as the collaboration gains traction.
Right. It's like planting a seed that could grow into something much bigger. So we've talked about MicroDried getting access to this potentially game-changing technology, and BranchOut securing a hefty revenue stream and a solid entry into a new market. That all sounds promising, but the press release goes even further, claiming that this partnership could revolutionize the premium dried ingredient market. Those are some pretty bold words. What makes them so confident?
It all boils down to the way the entire freeze-dried ingredient market is changing. Consumers are becoming way more discerning about what goes into their food.
They're reading labels more carefully.
Exactly. They want higher quality. They want to see those clean labels, fewer artificial ingredients, and they want it all at a reasonable price.
It's a tall order.
It is. And MicroDried has already built a solid reputation for providing top-notch dried ingredients that don't sacrifice on flavor, color, or nutritional value. Now, adding BranchOut's GentleDry technology to the mix takes things a step further. It lets them meet those evolving demands even more effectively. Think about it. Food manufacturers now have better tools to really refine how their ingredients perform in the final product. How they affect the texture, the taste, everything.
So it's not just about the dried ingredient itself. It's about how that ingredient elevates the whole dish.
Right. And beyond the taste and texture, there's the nutrition aspect.
Which consumers are super focused on these days.
For sure. Like, take dried mango, for example. Traditional drying methods often zap a lot of the vitamin C, right? So you end up with something that's more like a sugary treat than a nutritious fruit.
I see.
But with GentleDry, you can retain more of that vitamin C. So the dried mango is closer to the nutritional profile of fresh mango, just in a convenient, shelf-stable form.
Okay, now that's a significant difference. And for food manufacturers who are trying to make their products healthier, more appealing to those label-conscious consumers, that's a huge advantage.
It is.
Okay, so we've established that GentleDry brings some real benefits to the table. But why are BranchOut and MicroDried such a good fit specifically?
It's not just about the technology itself, it's about the strategic alignment between these two companies.
Yeah.
And there are a few reasons why this partnership makes so much sense.
Lay them on me.
First, let's look at the market itself.
That $36 billion market we talked about earlier?
Exactly. And it's not just big, it's growing. We're talking about an annual growth rate of over 7%. That's huge. And this agreement gives BranchOut a real chance to compete in this expanding market.
Because they have this unique technology.
Right. GentleDry gives them a serious edge. But that's not all.
There's more.
Oh, yeah. The second reason this is such a good fit is because of MicroDried's experience. They've been in this industry for over a decade.
They know the ropes.
Exactly. And they've built strong relationships with some of the biggest food manufacturers in the world.
So they have the connections.
They do.
Yeah.
And that gives BranchOut instant access to a much wider customer base. I mean, think about it. They're essentially introducing GentleDry to companies who might have never heard of it otherwise.
That's a huge shortcut for BranchOut. Instead of having to build those relationships from scratch.
Exactly. MicroDried is opening doors for them that could have taken years to open on their own.
Makes sense. But it's not just about connections, right?
No, it's not. You've also got to consider MicroDried's existing product range. I mean, they already have this extensive portfolio of high-quality fruit and veggie ingredients, all using their own tried-and-true drying methods.
So they're not starting from zero.
Not at all. And now, by adding GentleDry processed options into the mix, they're making their portfolio even more attractive.
More options, more flexibility for the food manufacturers.
Exactly. And it allows them to get a wider variety of premium dried ingredients, all from one trusted source.
Streamlining the supply chain.
Right. And speaking of supply chains, the food industry is facing some serious challenges right now.
You're talking about those rising costs, the supply chain disruptions we keep hearing about.
All of that. And the demand for clean label, minimally processed food isn't going away either. Yeah. So how does this collaboration help with all of that?
Yeah, that's the big question.
Well, GentleDry technology offers a solution.
To what?
It's designed to lock in the nutritional value and the overall quality of the produce.
Which helps with the clean label demand.
Yes. But it also helps manufacturers keep the quality of their products high even when the cost of raw materials is going through the roof.
I see. So it's a buffer against those rising costs.
It is. And the fact that GentleDry is so efficient, especially at that large scale in Peru, could make the supply chain a little bit more stable, too.
Less vulnerable to disruptions.
Right. So it's not just about a better ingredient. It's about a more resilient and potentially more cost-effective supply chain in the long run.
Okay, so this move into the ingredient business seems pretty strategic for BranchOut, but it's just one part of their overall plan, right?
That's right. The ingredient business is just one of 3 major sales channels for BranchOut.
So what are the other 2?
They've also got well-established and, importantly, growing branded retail and private label divisions.
So you're saying listeners might already be familiar with BranchOut, they just don't know it.
Exactly. They could be buying BranchOut products off the shelf or consuming them as ingredients in other brands' products.
I get it. So they've got this multi-pronged approach to the market.
And they're not stopping there. They're also getting ready to launch their own direct-to-consumer e-commerce platform.
Cutting out the middleman, going straight to the consumer.
Exactly. It really shows they're covering all their bases.
So BranchOut is playing the long game, building a diversified business. Now, let's switch gears back to MicroDried for a second. They're known for their commitment to quality. How does incorporating this new technology align with that reputation?
MicroDried has spent years building their name on providing high-quality, ready-to-eat dried ingredients that are free from added sugars or any artificial processing aids. And integrating GentleDry just reinforces that.
Doesn't compromise their standards?
Not at all. In fact, it enhances them.
How so?
It lets them offer an even wider range of those innovative, clean-label ingredients that their customers have come to expect.
So they're staying true to their core values while also evolving.
Exactly.
Okay, so looking ahead, what's next for this dynamic duo? When can we expect to see this partnership in action?
Well, the good news is that things are already moving. Initial ingredient orders are already being processed at BranchOut's facility in Peru.
So they're not wasting any time?
Nope. They're moving from the agreement stage to implementation, full steam ahead.
So what's the ultimate goal here?
The shared vision of both companies is to deliver high-quality, innovative, and this is important, sustainable dried ingredient solutions that truly meet the needs of modern food manufacturers.
You said sustainable, and that's definitely a hot topic right now. Does GentleDry have any specific sustainability advantages compared to traditional drying methods?
While we don't have the detailed metrics in front of us, the focus on efficiency and the potential for less food waste because of, better preservation suggests that it could be a more sustainable option.
It would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would, especially compared to those less efficient methods that might use more energy or lead to more product loss.
Right, so it's definitely something worth exploring further. Now let's zoom in on the technology itself for a bit. We've thrown around the name GentleDry a lot, but what exactly is it and what makes it so special?
Well, BranchOut calls GentleDry a next-generation dehydration method, and their big selling point is that it can preserve up to 95% of the original nutrients in the fresh produce.
95%. That's impressive.
It is, and that's a big differentiator. It results in a higher quality product with better taste and nutritional value compared to, those more aggressive conventional drying methods.
So it's gentle in name and gentle in nature.
Exactly. And it's not just marketing hype. BranchOut has over 17 patents protecting this technology.
Wow, so it's the real deal.
Oh, yeah. Instead of using high heat, which can destroy a lot of those delicate nutrients and flavors, GentleDry uses a lower temperature and a more controlled process to gently remove moisture.
So you're not cooking the goodness out of the produce.
Right. And that 95% nutrition retention is huge, especially with consumers becoming so interested in minimally processed, nutrient-rich foods.
It's hitting all the right notes. Now, just to recap, who are the key players here?
So MicroDried is a leading provider of premium dried fruit and vegetable ingredients, supplying the food and beverage industry with a strong focus on, quality, innovation, and clean label solutions.
And BranchOut Food.
They're the innovators behind the GentleDry technology. They're a leading international food technology company specializing in high-quality dehydrated fruits and veggies.
So you've got a cutting-edge technology company teaming up with an established market leader.
Exactly. And that's often a recipe for success.
Okay, so let's tie it all together. We've got BranchOut Food with their advanced GentleDry technology partnering with MicroDried, a major player in the premium dried ingredient space. This agreement is expected to give BranchOut a significant revenue boost, helping them gain a foothold in that massive $36 billion global market. And then there's the GentleDry technology itself, promising to deliver higher quality, more nutritious dried ingredients that really cater to the growing consumer demand for cleaner, less processed foods.
It's a smart strategic alignment.
It is. It leverages MicroDried's extensive market reach and expands their already impressive product portfolio while addressing some of the biggest challenges and trends in the food industry.
Absolutely. And it highlights the constant innovation happening in food technology, particularly in how we preserve and utilize natural ingredients in more effective and nutritious ways.
It's about more than just a business deal. It's about potentially influencing the types of ingredients that end up in the food we eat every day. So for our listeners who are always keen to understand how industries evolve and where innovation is taking us, this partnership between BranchOut and MicroDried is worth paying attention to.
It is. It shows how combining technological advancement with a strong market presence can effectively meet changing consumer needs and potentially reshape entire industries.
Now, thinking about this collaboration, this move towards minimally processed, high-quality ingredients, it makes you wonder what other surprising innovations might we see in the food industry in the near future. What will our food look like in 5–10 years? What new technologies will emerge? It's an exciting time to be paying attention to the food we eat and how it's made.
Absolutely. The future of food is ripe with possibilities.
It is, and that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating.
It's a glimpse into what might be coming next.
Exactly. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of dried ingredients and this potentially game-changing partnership. And until next time, keep those taste buds adventurous and those minds curious.
And don't forget to check the labels.
Always read the labels.